So today I'm working on the 2016 Can-Am XMR 570. I bought this thing new about 4 years ago as a dealer leftover, and it's always had problems staying in low gear. And my thought is there's probably some issues with the adjustment down here. So what happens is when it snows, I like to go out and do what's called snow bogging. To me, that's what I call it. And if I have it in low gear and I get stuck and I start to get the thing to rock a little bit, all of a sudden, boom, it will just pop out of gear and act like it's going to neutral. And but while doing that, it will also make this horrific sound. So I think if I make some adjustments here to shorten up the length, so when I put it into low, it will actually engage and stay engaged. So let me show you how it is when I start it. I don't know how well this is going to show up. So I've got the machine started, it's in park now, and I'll try and keep both the display and the gear shift knob in focus. So right now I'm in reverse. I'm going to go up to high, or neutral, then high, and then watch low. Even though I'm in L, still says H. So sometimes you can get it to go in if you rock it, or if you slam it really hard, then it will engage, like now. But that isn't the right way it's supposed to be. So I'm going to make some adjustments on this shift linkage, and I'll show you what adjustments I'm going to make, so that way if you're having that same problem, you'll be able to fix your machine. So let's get started. Okay, as you guys saw in the last demo, I'm having trouble engaging low gear. Whenever I move the shift linkage, it doesn't start to engage until it's almost hitting this stopper here. And the reason why I think it's not engaging until it's way up here is because this shift linkage rod is too long. They didn't adjust it correctly at the factory. So there's a way you can adjust that by shortening this rod, is by adjusting this rod coupler. There's two nuts. There's one on top, which is a 13mm, and a 13mm nut on the bottom. Once you have both of these loosened up, you can move this rod coupler up this shaft to shorten the length of this shift linkage rod, and that should allow my low gear to start engaging a lot sooner. Let me show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, in order to make the adjustment on this shift linkage, we're going to have to loosen the top nut and then also the bottom nut. I have both of them are loose. And then now I just want to tighten this part so that way it brings this shift linkage in closer. Here I'm tightening the rod coupler, which will shorten the length of the shift linkage rod. Once I have it adjusted to where I want, I then tighten the two 13mm nuts to lock the coupler rod into place. I now have everything good and tight. Let's see if it will engage low gear without having to slam it in. Even on these steep inclines, sometimes it will pop out of low gear. So let's see if this stays in low. Oh yeah, no problem. After a week of riding around, it has yet to pop out of low gear. I think my low gear problem is finally fixed. If you're having problems with your Can-Am popping out of gear, hopefully this video will give you some ideas on how to resolve that. If you want to see more Can-Am DIY videos, make sure you hit that like button. So long.